Welcome everybody to the Inside the U live postgame show where the Miami Hurricanes won 11-6 to open regional play. Finally, the game got started. Let's get right into the highlights. We'll talk about the game, but certainly Carson Ligon gets off to a slow start, unable to get it done. But the bullpen was great today. Huge game by Yohandy Morales. 4 for 4, 3 home runs, 5 RBIs. You know, Miami gets down here 4-1 to start it. And we've seen this team in the past kind of struggle to get back into games, and we didn't see that today. And I thought that was a great performance by Miami to get back into the game. The bullpen, a lot of guys stepped up. Seeing Morales here, you know, getting it started for Miami. They get a couple runs, and Morales just gets the ball in the air in right field and really starts it off for him. You know, and if you guys watched the pregame show, the preview show that I had with Javi Salas, I said I think Yohandy Morales is going to have a big regional. And certainly it started off here. I thought this was great. Again, it cuts it to 2-1. A lot of games still to go as Miami won 11-6. But just getting back on the board, I thought was good. So we're waiting for the post-game press conference. Canisius is going to go first. We might jump in and listen to Coach just for a little bit, see what's going on there. And certainly we'll get to Coach Gino DiMare and players afterwards as well. But Canisius will go first with the press conference. Shout out to Matt. Appreciate you jumping on here, and everybody else. If you have any comments or questions, definitely drop below. I appreciate everybody for being here. New layout with the post-game show. Hopefully you guys like this. Got the ticker going, a lot to update. So just an incredible play here by Dominic Patelli.
This one blasted center field, and again, and just like that, we're tied at 4. Burke goes yard. Even more amazing, you were in the majors for 11 seasons. The 0-2 ripped into left field. Back up the middle, could be 2. The short, the turn is there. The twin.
Okay, I just got word about the schedule tomorrow. I want to break this to you guys. So they're going to play 3 games tomorrow. Miami's going to play at 3:06 p.m. Still waiting on confirmation on TV. I think it's going to be ESPN Plus, but Miami's going to play at 3:06 p.m. It just came in from the NCAA right now. Canisius is going to play 11:06 against the loser of Arizona and Ole Miss in an elimination game. And then the third game of the day is going to be at 7:06 p.m. scheduled time, and that's going to be the winner of the elimination game and the loser of the winner's bracket game, if that makes sense. I'll go ahead and I'm going to update this on the sheet here. But Miami's going to play the winner of the Arizona Ole Miss game. That's going to start in about an hour. I'm not sure if we'll be on here, but
Burke is right behind him. 2 more runs score for the U. And the lead now at 4 runs for Miami. An unbelievable year this year. Through the whole left side.
So yeah, so Coach, the press conference for Canisius is coming up here. But I wanted to update that. So Miami once again will play the winner of the Ole Miss and Arizona game. The triple header isn't uncommon. They used to do this back in the day until they went to this 2-game format. So certainly it puts a lot of pressure on your bullpen. And again, Miami's bullpen came up big today. They got the win. They'll work it out moving forward in terms of how often they can pitch, you know, in the tournament and the regional. But a lot of guys stepped up. You see Andrew Walters picks up his 14th save in 15 opportunities, came out and got the last 5 outs of the game. I do want to show you guys the bullpen. I mean, it was just incredible. Everybody, between Gallo, Torres had been struggling lately, Zeal had been struggling lately, but those guys really put up a lot of impressive innings. And I think at one point it was 3 up, 3 down for 3 straight innings. So it's very impressive. Zeal gets the win, improves to 2-2. Miami gets its 40th win of the season. I think that's great. They certainly were struggling coming into it, losing 6 of 8. I know some of you might not be very confident in this team, but what you saw today should give you a lot of hope. With Yohandy Morales, a huge performance, 3 home runs. He's up to 17 on the season. This is the first 3-run home run game by a Hurricane since David Thompson. And it's only the 4th player ever at Miami to have 3 home runs in a postseason game in the NCAA tournament. So Yo-Yo was great. Went 4 for 4. He also walked. Jacob Burke gets his 13th home run. Had a couple hits. Zach Levinson a couple hits, and Dorian Gonzalez a couple hits. I thought it was good. Levinson and Gonzalez getting the hits, getting a couple RBIs for those 2 guys as well. Just to get some, they had been kind of scuffling a little bit. So it's always good when guys scuffling. You don't want to go into the big droughts, especially now. But a lot of guys stepped up today, and that's ultimately what it came down to. You got to remember, I know it didn't look good early. I know some of you might have been a little discouraged early, but it's a 9-inning game. And you saw what happened when Canisius took out their starter, Matt Duffy, who struck out 8, but he had thrown 99 pitches. After 6 innings, he comes out. We're going to go to coach here in a second. This is going to be the Canisius coach. They're going to start soon. Again, we won't stay on it the whole time. It's just to basically kind of get a perspective on what he's saying about the game. And certainly they'll get into some Canisius stuff and some details, and we'll kind of come back here and we'll talk more. We'll wait for Miami, but we'll pop in, see what they have to say, and then we'll jump out. Nothing official in terms of starting pitcher, but you've got to figure Carson Palmquist is going to start the second game. That was one thing, another benefit. Miami, by them using guys 1 to 2 innings at a time, they didn't get into their long guys that they could have. They could have easily went with a Jake Garland or Alejandro Rosario in this game and really stretched them out. But they didn't do that. They stuck to what they've been doing all year. Give a guy an inning or 2 and piece it together, and then hopefully you can kind of get back on track if Miami can win the next day on Sunday. And Palmquist can give you 6-7 innings, really shorten the bullpen, and move forward. So it did work out in Miami's favor, but ultimately bullpen, whatever it might be, you get the win and you move on. I want to show you the bracket here, see if it's updated. So it's not updated on the times, but Miami's going to play game 4. And it's going to be at 3:06 p.m. You can see it on the bracket. Arizona and Ole Miss coming up. In that game 5, it's going to be interesting. If you get to there, that team's going to play 3 in a row. A couple of Canisius players are up at the press conference now. It's really loud. If it's too distracting, we might not stay in here very long. They're still waiting on their coach.
All right, everyone, we are joined on the podium by head coach Matt Mazurek, center fielder Mike DiStefano, and designated hitter Mike Steffen. We're going to start today's Coral Gables Regional postgame press conference with an opening statement from Coach. We will then go into questions for the student athletes. If you can please direct the question to the student athlete, we'll then go into questions for Coach when those are finished. And Coach, go ahead.
Yeah, it was a hard-fought game. Our plan offensively was to come out swinging, and I said if this group comes out swinging, we're going to shock some people, and they did. They came out swinging. We got a great start out of Matt Duffy on the mound. We just failed to execute in certain situations to get us over the hump. We were right there in it, but we didn't get there. So here we go.
We'll go into questions. We'll start with Walter Villa.
For Stefan first and then Stefano. Both of you guys are Mike, so I have to go last names. Obviously, the big story for Miami was Yohandy Morales. Can you tell me your reactions to what kind of hitter, what kind of player is it, what you saw today, and what did you know about him coming in?
I mean, it's impressive for him to do what he did. Obviously a fun player to watch, but he beat us today, and he took some pitches that probably left over the plate, and he did damage. And when you come into an environment like this, play a team like this, and they have guys of that caliber, you can't make mistakes, and he made us pay for those.
Same question.
Yeah, we knew coming in what he had. We had the outfield shifts deep on him. I just think that a couple mistakes late in counts and early in counts helped him find barrels, and he succeeded.
If you have a question on Zoom, please use the hand raise function.
Can I follow?
Of course.
For the same order in the players, one of the big plays was in the third inning. You guys had the bases loaded. Stefano, I think, got picked.
Yep.
Start with you, Mike. What happened on that play, and it was close. What did you see on that play?
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely close. I just got to learn from my mistakes, but I thought I got in there. I thought a lot of people thought I got in there, but we just got to move on.
We have a couple hands up on Zoom. We'll go first to Paul Stockman. Paul, go ahead.
This question's for pretty much anybody. Seemed like you guys were able to match them throughout the game, even though it was tied for a large part of it, but then it just kind of seemed to fall apart late. Was that just fatigue? Was that them? I mean, what happened there in the last couple innings, the seventh and eighth? Because it seemed like you guys were still in it and keeping it really close throughout most of the contest.
Yeah, Paul, I'm not going to go to fatigue on that. I just think we lacked execution in certain spots, and they're a good team. They have good players. They executed. We didn't, and that allowed them to get the upper hand. But our guys fought and they kept fighting, and we did what we could.
I'll follow up with that really quick. About 12 hours from now, you're right back on the field. I know you guys are used to playing games quickly back to back, but after the emotional ups and downs that this game had, how do you kind of power through that and get ready for a must-win game tomorrow?
I mean, we're just going to have a short memory. Obviously, this one stings. We didn't feel overmatched, overpowered, and we competed. We played hard up until the end, and so it's going to hurt for a little bit, but once we get back to the hotel, we're going to have a short memory and get up and get ready to be back at it in the morning.
Thanks, guys.
We have a hand up on Zoom. We'll go to Chris Stock from 24/7 Sports. Chris, go ahead.
Coach, I was curious your thoughts on their bullpen. It seemed like every guy they threw out there was tough on your guys. What made them tough to go against?
They have a strong staff. The staff that they have has some velos that we haven't seen up to this year. We've seen them a couple times with West Virginia Liberty, but their staff top to bottom has good stuff, plus stuff. And when you don't see it all year, it surprised you a little bit, but felt the guys made some adjustments as time went on, and go from there.
Walter?
Yeah, Stefano in that order, if you would, please. You got to their bullpen. They didn't want to use their closer. You made them do that. Do you, and that could, you guys have a longer run. That could come to play. Do you take pride in that, and do you take pride in how you battle today?
Yeah, we definitely do. I mean, when you see a team who has two All-American pitchers, those are the guys you want to see. And for us to know that he's going to be in the game, we know it's going to be a close game, we're going to be in it, and it means we're competing up until the end. So to see him come in is something that, we were hoping for, because that means we're executing and we're doing our job. So it was a cool experience, and, I mean, he got the job done.
Mike?
Yeah, building off what Steph said, we knew what we were going to get coming in here, higher velo, and we had a plan, and I thought that we stuck to it for the most part. I mean, there were some ups and downs in the game, lack of scoring when there was runners in scoring position, but other than that, I thought we went to their bullpen a good amount and used some of their better arms, so that was a positive.
Do we have any other questions for Coach or the student athletes?
I have a question for Coach.
Okay.
I don't know where we're
Of
done
course,
with the
yes.
players. Coach, the third time Morales was up, there's a runner on first, so an intentional walk there is kind of odd maybe, but given that he hit 2 homers, did that thought even come to your mind to
Yeah, the thought was there. The thought was there 100%. But, we fight by the adage of if you want to be the best, you got to beat the best. And we wanted to go at him, and we had the guy in the mound that we thought could go at him. What we called missed a little bit where it was called, and he got it. And that's what happens. We don't back down from those challenges, but that thought was there, and, just didn't execute.
And even his last at bat when you walked him 3-1, you're going after him again.
Yeah, again, with the same plan. And I said that. I was like, if we're not going to intentionally walk him in his third at bat, go after him. And it was, he got a fastball in, out, got it up in the jet stream, and it took off in the first inning, and it made us not want to go back in. But, sometimes you got to keep at things and see what works, see what doesn't. Maybe that helps you down the road.
Seeing no more hands up or none more in the room, Coach, guys, thank you very much for your time.
Yeah,
Thank you, guys. Congratulations on the effort.
So there we go. Wrapped up with Canisius, Gino DiMare, and Miami players will be in here shortly, I would assume. Some things that kind of stood out to me, I asked about the bullpen because obviously that's where the game turned. It was 4-1. Miami's down. Ligon's out of the game. But again, Miami just keeps rolling out productive arms. McFarland was the only one that they got to. And they did get a run off, an unearned run off Walters. But, like they said, the velocity, they hadn't seen velocity like that before. And so Miami certainly overwhelmed them there and did a good job. They got strikeouts, those first three relief pitchers I mentioned all had multiple strikeouts. So there's that. And there were a couple key points early in the game. The bunt by Renzo Gonzalez, it certainly didn't seem to, or it didn't eventually matter. But certainly that was a big one going with the bunt there. I thought it was an interesting thing. I was curious if Renzo did that on his own. And I'm talking about there in the second inning, Miami's down. And, they get a couple guys on with one out and they lay down a bunt. But Miami only had 5 sacrifice bunts all year long. That's not a team that sacrifices. So I did wonder if that was something Renzo saw on his own and just went for it. But yeah, they're just getting started. I'll show you guys as we're getting ready here for the next portion of the Zoom. I'll check out the chat. I want to shout out everybody that's in here. First off with John, nothing better than a Canes win. I know you're happy, so glad you're in here. Tony's here as well. What's going on? Colton popped in here. Matt, of course. Hold on.
I was disagree. What it is? We get water. Can it is? Oh, water. Need some water. Non-branded. And I'll do water.
Hey, Brandon, real quick. Glad you're in here. Gabby Gutierrez was under concussion protocols for hitting the wall at the ACC tournament, and we've not seen him since. I've not been able to ask Gino about that. It slipped my mind, but yeah, not in the lineup today.
I didn't think we picked that against
Huh?
I don't think
They didn't have enough evidence.
All right, everyone, we're joined on the dais by head coach Gino DiMare, third baseman Yohandy Morales, outfielder Jacob Burke, and pitcher Ronaldo Gallo. If you could please use the hand raise function if you've got a question for either coach or any of our student athletes on Zoom. We will make sure we get to you, but we will start with an opening statement from Coach DiMare before we head into questions for both student athletes and the head coach. Go ahead, Coach.
Well, Canisius is a good team. That's a veteran team, battled, very, very confident team. And they gave us all we could handle. They jumped out early on us, and I was happy to see our guys come back, obviously. And we had a battle. We had a battle all the way through. We got some big hits. Obviously, Yo-Yo had an unbelievable game, but we also got some big hits. You know, Dorian had two RBI up the middle, and of course we added some insurance runs, which I thought were huge late in the game. Little disappointed in some of our pitching. Some of our pitchers threw very well. I know Ali Torres and Gage Zeal came in and did well. Some of the other guys, you know, we need to do a better job, and they know that. But at the end of the day, this is a team game, and it's a team win, and we were able to get it done, especially on the offensive side. So we'll move on and get ready for the next game.
Thank you, Coach. We'll start with questions in the room. We'll start with Walter Villa.
I would like one word from each of you, Coach, starting with you and on down, to describe Yohandy's performance today, if you would, please.
Impressive.
Impressive. Yohandy?
Amazing. 2 words. Not surprised.
Electric.
And then if I please, I could follow. Yohandy, were you surprised, especially the third time, that they didn't intentionally walk? There was a guy on first.
Yeah.
So it may have been a little bit non-conventional, but did that thought, the coach said he thought about it. What was your thought going into that they were going to pitch you to you, or what?
I mean, yeah, I was expecting to get, obviously, not out there and do what I can to get on base to help my team score some runs. I wasn't really trying to do too much. Thankfully, the ball got out and we got to get some runs there, but I didn't really think that he was going to intentionally walk me there.
We have some hands up on Zoom. We'll go to Mike DePasquale from WSVN. Mike, go ahead.
Thanks, Cam. Yo-Yo, this question's for you. I asked you before this started about if you felt the U was being respected, and you said that they'll be hating on Miami and the Canes all they want. Do you go into this regionals based on what you did tonight with maybe a chip on your shoulder a little bit?
I mean, we're just trying to win every game that we can, especially tonight. Tonight was the most important game, basically, of the year. We had to get through them first. We struggled in the beginning, and it was a tough game. They obviously came out to try to win the game. But, yeah, I mean, we just try to do the best we can every game that we go out there.
If I could follow up real quick, Yo-Yo, did you have a feeling going into this game that this could be your night?
I mean, I always have that feeling. I'm always trying to do the best I can when I go out there. I'm not just trying to do what I can to help my team win. That's mainly it.
Go back to Walter Villa.
Ronaldo, one of the big plays in the game was that pickoff.
Thank you.
They had the bases loaded there. Walk me through that. What did you see? And you know, it was a close play. What did you see?
First of all, I mean, obviously it wasn't one.
Hey, what's going on, guys? I can't hear. Let me know in the chat if you guys can hear or if it's just on my end.
Recording stopped.
I just got the message. Not sure if you saw it, but they said there's an audio issue and they'll send audio afterwards. So we'll stay and see if it goes back on. I should probably lower my hand here.
Recording in progress.
We have another hand up. We'll go to Chris Stock from 24/7. Chris, go ahead.
Yeah, I apologize. Audio went out, but Coach, again with the pitching, Can you just talk about the impact that these guys made? Explain more about this bullpen, what they were able to do, essentially allow you guys to get back into this one.
Well, yeah, I mean, we went to him early, and we're just talking about Ronnie making that was a huge play. That was the bases loaded, 2 outs, and Ronnie was struggling a little bit. Their third hole hitter was up at the time, and that actually play came from JD in the dugout. The guy was taking some aggressive leads. They have we knew that in the scouting report that they take kind of big secondaries and kind of hop and try to time their secondaries and whatnot. So that was a big play, but Ronnie's got to execute it with Dom, and we practiced that. We practiced it this week. We practice picks every week, and that play is huge because that, again, Ronnie's struggling. It's the perfect time to put that play on for him and get that big out. And then, of course, we bring in Torres, and Alejandro Torres and Gage Zeal both went 6 up, 6 down, if I'm not mistaken, both through 2 innings. So if that's my math's right, that's 12 up, 12 down between the 2 of those guys, which really gave us a chance to come back. And I did leave out in the locker room Burke's home run. You guys are reminding me was huge, hitting that home run to tie the game up. And then Alex comes in and, again, he struggled a little bit. We'd like to see Alex throw a little bit better. We know he's better than that. And even Walt is a little bit, he wasn't maybe as sharp as he normally is. But we had such a big lead that we kind of put it out of reach with the insurance runs.
Got one more hand up on Zoom. We'll go to Susan Miller-Degnan from the Herald. Susan, go ahead.
Hey guys, congratulations, Gino and anybody else there. The rain and the long delays, what kind of effect did that have on you guys? Obviously you're home, so it had to be better, and how do you think it's going to affect from here on out, with the new schedule and stuff?
Well, I can't answer that. I can't predict the weather moving forward, but we did talk about it during the week that, the chances we're going to have weather. We've been in a few regionals over the years where they don't always work out exactly the way you want. We normally have weather this time of year. We happen to have a storm come through here, so the timing wasn't great. But we talked to the guys about it multiple times, and I just told them to embrace it. Just enjoy it. You know what? Don't get upset. Don't get down. Don't get miserable. And you're gonna stop. So that's the one thing we didn't want. And then the NCAA guys, the reps here, and our people. First of all, our crew, our grounds crew, did an unbelievable job getting our field ready and staying on it because we got a ton of rain here, a ton. And the field was in great shape. But, the reps understand they don't want to start a game and stop a game and start it and stop. We were fortunate, the game was supposed to start at 5, and they backed it up 5:30, thank goodness. If we started at 5, we would have burned the pitcher early on. Both teams would have possibly, and you don't want that. So things worked out for us, but you got to deal with it. You just got to deal with the weather, and then we might have to deal with some more as we go along. So just embrace it, enjoy it. We've played in crazy weather here. We played in the snow, I told them a few years ago at Pitt, and that was really wild for these guys, and they had fun with it. We ended up winning that game. It was a rubber match game on Sunday, so yeah.
Gino, do you have an idea tomorrow about what time or some kind of window when you might play tomorrow?
Well, we're the middle game, so the first game starts at 3. If things go well with that first game, we're 3:06 maybe first pitch, I think is what it is. If that game goes a little long, then it's 55 minutes, I think, after the first game. So that's the general consensus.
Okay, first game's at 3 p.m., you're saying,
11.
right?
If I said that wrong, first game's at 11, I'm sorry.
You said 3, okay.
I'm sorry, first game's at 11. Second game's at 3:06, which is our game.
Questions?
That sounds better, okay.
Sorry.
Yohandy, just kind of, what were you seeing tonight at the plate? It seemed like everything was going right for you. Just like your thought process at the plate, just how you were feeling up there.
I mean, I felt amazing. Obviously, I got to hit 3 home runs. I was just trying to do the best I can to get on base in any way possible. I was just seeing the ball really well today, but honestly, what's more exciting than that was getting the win tonight. That's the big part of it. Doesn't matter what I do 0 for 4, 4 for 4. As long as we win the game is really all that matters. So that's it.
Gabe, we'll wrap up with you.
For everybody, coming into the regional, you guys didn't perform well in the ACC tournament, and today you fell behind early, but you came back. The bullpen stepped up. The hitting started making clutch plays, and on defense, Patelli made a great catch, robbing that hitter of a potential single. How important is it for you guys to win today's game? Like, what does it mean for you guys to win today's game?
Well, it's huge. Winning the first game, obviously now puts you in a position. This next game is really, really big. You win these first 2 games. Now you only got to win 1 game to move on. And you lose the first game or the second game, you got to go through that loser's bracket, which can be difficult, not undoable, but it's very difficult. So, no, it was big, and you're right. We didn't play well in the tournament, but somebody reminded me the other day, Mississippi State played terrible in their tournament last year, went 0-2 and won the national championship. So, you just got to turn the page in this sport. It's a crazy sport. You can go out and get beat up like we did against Clemson 20-5 this year, and won 14 straight after that. It's just a crazy game. We got good players. We got talented players, and if they play the game the way I know they can play, we can beat anybody on any given day.
We'll wrap up with Chris Stock, who has a hand up on Zoom. Chris, go ahead.
Yeah, just a couple things. Yohandy, was there anything different in the dugout when you guys got down that maybe you guys did with approach differently than with the last few games, either ACC tournament? Was there anything different there? And then I do have a quick thing for Coach after.
Yeah, he was asking you.
I mean, we never really got down in the game. We were just down 3-1. That's really not much of a difference, to be honest. We've battled back from way worse than that, so the team wasn't really down at all inside the dugout. We were just having fun with the home run cart, which we were in there a couple times. And honestly, forgot about the ACC tournament already. That's already in the past. I don't know, we won today, so I think that's more important now. We just won tonight, so we just got to worry about tomorrow now.
And Coach, any announcement? Will Palmquist be your guy tomorrow, I assume?
I haven't announced it yet, but I'm sure you can figure that one out.
And then, Gabby Gutierrez, did he clear? Is he available for you?
Yes, yes, he is. Yep.
Thank you.
Coach, guys, congratulations on the win. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Watch
guys.
out backing up. Watch out backing up.
Recording stop.
So there we go. Able to ask a few questions. Apologize the audio that was on their end, but I appreciate you guys jumping on and saying that you guys were having issues with it as well. We're running the highlights back here. I saw a question. If anybody said 4 home runs in the game, I can't recall. And in the game notes for Miami, they actually show the last time a Hurricane did a certain feat, and one of them is the last one to hit 2 home runs in a game, last one to hit 3 home runs, and there isn't one in there for 4 home runs in a game. So I don't know if it's happened or whatnot, but my question to Yo-Yo there at the end, and I was interested to see how he responded. They're certainly moved past it, but we've seen this team kind of get behind before, and they've not been able to battle back. And I thought that was great. I think that was one of the biggest takeaways from today. That yes, you get down 4-1, you have good at bats, you get back into it, a couple home runs, and it's 4-4. And I think that in this game, I think if they can continue to win, I think you can look back at that as a very positive thing, because not just the win, but how they did it, because they haven't had a ton of these. Sometimes when they kind of get down, they kind of stay down in a sense. Now, yes, of course, there's exceptions, but just kind of in recent memory, in particular, anytime you're kind of stacking up losses coming into the tournament, any way to get a good win is important. So, good for Miami to do that. As you heard, just for confirmation, obviously it seems like Palmquist is going tomorrow. It's pretty no-brainer, but always like getting that confirmation there. Again, Miami's going to face the winner of the Arizona Ole Miss game. They're at 3:06 on Sunday. If Miami loses that game, they'll play again later that night. It's a 7:00 game. Again, these are all just scheduled, but that loser, if Miami does lose that game, they'll play that 7:06. Otherwise, they'll advance to Monday. So that's the way how the bracket kind of shakes out for Miami now. But certainly, winning the first game is very important. And one thing I wasn't able to ask, but just the bullpen. It's not the way you want to go in game 1 where you just run through your bullpen. However, again, if they can get what they need out of Carson Palmquist tomorrow, they can kind of reset their bullpen a little bit. Plus, when you win that game and run through your bullpen, it makes it a little bit easier, because especially the way the schedule's being adjusted. Like you said, when Coach mentioned it's difficult for that team to lose its first game, they're going to have to play multiple games, to get through. So, we'll kind of see how things go. I guess the max is still just the 2 games for that the losers bracket. They won't finish that up on that game 6. Game 6 will be Monday regardless. Again, weather permitting. Let's see. Other questions. Brandon, not sure if you heard there, but yes, Gabby Gutierrez has been cleared, so he's available. I think you'll, as a right-handed batter, you might see a lefty-righty type platoon situation. They had a couple lefties in the corner outfield spots with Renzo Gonzalez and Edgardo Villegas, although Villegas is back in there in his 2-hole spot that they've liked to use him there, but that might be something to watch for. That's just maybe that platoon spot there in the corner outfield. John, like the game, yep, slow start, recover, definitely. 9-inning game, there's no doubt about it. Especially, even if Miami wasn't coming back, they like they did, anytime the starter leaves the game, it's a chance to reset, and Miami was able to tie it. But even if they were down 4-1, if that was a score, when the starter goes out, you still have a chance to get things going because it's the new guys in there, and you never know what's going to happen. Matt, concerned about advancing. I've not seen a lot of Ole Miss or Arizona this year. I said going into it, which team would you rather be of the 4 going into it? I think sometimes you look at Miami's situation, fans in general looks at Miami's situation. Yes, there's holes on this team. They weren't playing great down the stretch, but which team would you rather have? And I think what you saw today is what makes Miami scary. They have a very good player in Yohandy Morales who can take over a game by himself. Up to 17 home runs now, 5 RBIs in this game, 4 for 4. He's that type of guy. You heard it on the broadcast. Gino DiMare said, yes, he expects him to be a first-round pick next year. He's that type of talent. There's not a lot of guys like that in this regional. You've got other guys producing. You've got 4. Let me make sure I got this right. So coming into the game, of their regular guy, I mean, Garcia is a part-time player, but between Kafis, Morales, Burke, and Levinson, all 4 of those guys have OPSs over 950. That's very good. Max Romero has been picking it up. His OPS is getting close to 900 coming into it. You've got 6 different guys with double digits and doubles. They have this well-rounded thing going on, and you've got above average starting pitching in Carson Palmquist. He's very good when he's on. Andrew Walters is as good as it gets as a closer, and you can piece together. You heard Coach from Canisius talking about the power arms Miami has out of the bullpen. So, yes, I understand there's some weaknesses. As far as advancing, I still expect Miami to win the regional. That Ole Miss and Arizona also have their flaws as well. And certainly, I think if you look at their starting pitching and their situations, that'll be something to watch for in this regional. They don't have ideal setups either. And so I think that'll be the big key. But also, and what we'll see with Miami, and this is why I said coming back and putting those runs together could be big. Miami's a team that I think can really feed off the energy. And I feel like maybe this is a team that just needs the one win to get it going again, with their momentum. I feel like this is a team that really feeds off momentum. And I think winning against Canisius, it's only one win, but I think it can really help propel them. I think the home crowd is great. Miami historically has won over 83% of its games at Mark Light Field in the Coral Gables Regionals. So Miami does well at home, and that's what we saw today. And the fact that they didn't give up, like Yo-Yo said, they're having fun in the dugout, they're riding the cart, they're doing their thing, they're staying confident, and we saw that. And maybe it's a little easier to do that at home with the crowd feeling more comfortable and just kind of sticking with it. They weren't getting discouraged. And we saw that play out. Miami, 11 runs, 13 hits. They did have the 3 errors. Certainly got to cut that down. Canisius, 6 runs, 12 hits, 2 errors. Miami gets the win, improves to 40-18. Gage Zeal's the winning pitcher, is 2-2. And then for Canisius, drops to 29-24, snaps a 6-game winning streak. You see Tom Peltier takes the loss at 3-3. He comes in for Duffy, who was really good, 8 strikeouts in 6 innings. He does give up those 2 home runs, but he was very good. Other than that, and things changed when he left the game. We've looked at the bracket once again. 3:06 start on Sunday. TV is to be determined, so stay tuned for that. I definitely ESPN Plus, I would assume, but maybe they'll switch it around. looking at the Arizona's not start this game. The Arizona Ole Miss game has not started yet. If you're going to watch this game, there's a couple draft pick possibilities, projected guys, highly rated guys. Daniel Susac is projected, I think, anywhere from 10 to 15 in the mock drafts. So certainly a high first round pick talent, impressive catcher for Arizona. And then Ole Miss has a catcher as well in Hayden Dunhurst. That's a top 200 prospect. So a couple of guys there. Irvin for Arizona has been their guy lately. Left-handed pitcher. And then Ole Miss. Again, Ole Miss is, I think, once again, breaking down the starting pitching, both of these teams, it's not set up perfectly where they've got 3 guys that have just been clicking. So the big thing you want to look for is, do they have to get into their bullpen? Are they throwing a bunch of guys? That'll be the thing to watch for in this one. And obviously, if anybody gets hot, because now you look at a Yo-Yo Morales, what he did today, certainly you got to feel good if you're Miami moving forward, to have that performance. He certainly is going to want to build on that. And I think that's what you'll look for in this other game too, is there anybody that's having a monster game that can continue the momentum? Because a guy like Morales or any of these guys that get hot can really carry you over a 3-4 day span. And again, with the schedule, the plan is they're going to wrap this thing up on Monday. So they'll play 2 on Monday if they need to play that second game. So the plan is not to get to Tuesday. I've touched on Tuesday a little bit, kind of dating back to that 2010 regional that Miami hosted, where they did have to go into Tuesday, but that's not the plan. And certainly weather holds up, they'll get their 3 in on Sunday. Just looking at the rest of the live scores going on. Virginia Tech's been rolling. See Florida's down in the 8th inning there. Other national seeds, Tennessee has a narrow one with Campbell. Campbell's got a really good player from down here, Zach Nito from Miami. He's done really well. I've followed his career since he's been at Campbell. So East Carolina there, the 8th seed. Oklahoma State's up, Maryland's down, Texas, then A&M. North Carolina's down 3-1. That's interesting. North Carolina's been a real hot team. So these are all ahead of Miami in terms of where they're at in their brackets. But none of them will be decided tonight. All the deciding super regional, the winners of the regional, that will all happen on Sunday for the other brackets. So, but certainly some pivotal games here. Yeah, Louisville, a team that had been struggling kind of lately. So there we go. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. Finish this off here. We'll take a look at the highlights once again. I'll just roll them. You can check them out. Actually, with the stats, Matt, I remember you brought up the strikeouts, the 12 strikeouts. They do get double-digit strikeouts sometimes. They are a team that strikes out some, but I think they'll take 12 strikeouts if it results in 13 hits and 11 runs and 4 home runs. I think you take that. I think that's just part of it. They've got, some guys that do strike out a little bit. And like you see, a couple guys like a Dorian Gonzalez strikes out a couple, but he gets a couple hits and drives in a couple runs. I think you take that. You take 2 hits, 2 RBIs every day from him. So, Renzo Gonzalez had a tough day at the plate. He had that crazy catch late in the game. But yeah. As far as let's talk a little bit about bullpen before we wrap it up. In terms of availability for Sunday, looking at these guys, 3 guys throw at least 30 pitches with Gallo, Zeal, and Walters. Would they be available? I think definitely they would go to Walters if they need him. If he's going to pitch 3 days in a row, we've not seen that, but I definitely think that they would get him back out there. There's even though he threw 34 pitches, Zeal, the fact that he pitched so well and they do believe in him, I could see him going again. And Gallo too. It's a big game. That second game, if you could just win that game, I think maybe they would look to do that. But certainly it's going to depend on how the game's going. I want to take a look at the other bullpen guys to keep an eye on. And between Walters, Gallo, and Zeal, those are their 3 top leaders in innings pitched in terms of out of the bullpen, and McFarland. So those 4 guys are their top 4 guys out of the bullpen that they use. They ran through 4 of them. And then Torres. Okay. So the one, Torres is actually their 6th. 5th in innings pitched out of the bullpen is Jordan Dubberly. So he didn't pitch. So certainly I could see him going tomorrow unless they want to use some of these guys. And McFarland struggled a little bit, but only threw 17 pitches. So I think he would be available. They want to go to him. And I think it's going to be very interesting. Palmquist in game 2, you're definitely going to play a game 3. You know, you're definitely going to play that either Sunday night or Monday. And I'm very curious to see who they're going to pitch. If it's Rosario or Garland, I think it's definitely a toss-up with those 2 guys. Rosario's been in there. Coach has talked about his confidence in him. So we will see how that plays out. But yeah, any final question, guys? Yeah, who would pitch the 3rd game? Garland. Tony, yeah, I think it's interesting. You know, the big thing is Coach has talked about the confidence in Rosario. And they've kept him in there. And Garland didn't pitch well at the ACC tournament. And Garland has not faced an ACC team this year. Obviously not playing an ACC team in this regional, but the point is that the competition he's faced has been different than what they've done with Rosario. They're both right-handed pitchers. They're different styles, so maybe Coach will look at maybe one of them will be better against Arizona, one will be better against Ole Miss, or Canisius if Canisius can rally back and get back into it. In that 3rd game. I want to look at Garland real quick and show you his game logs for the year. So yeah, these are the opponents. You know, he faced Florida at the beginning of the year when he was in the weekend rotation. He gave up 4 runs in 2 1/3 innings. Other than that, that's the only Power 5 conference school he faced, other than the Wake Forest won the ACC tournament, and obviously he struggled there. So he's pitched 2 2/3 against conference or Power 5 conference teams and allowed 8 runs. It's hard to be confident in him in that situation. And against ACC opponents in 2021, 9 appearances, 7 starts, ERA was 6.88, I think, or 6.83, but one of those 2, I think it was definitely over 6.5. So he's not pitched great against these better teams. So I could see them trusting Rosario. I could also see, which would be interesting, do you throw both guys in the same game and then maybe just figure it out in that 4th game if you have to go to a 4th game? That will be fascinating to me if they do. You know, again, we'll plenty to get to. We will do a post-game show tomorrow. I'm going to wrap this up again. Miami improves to 40-18 on the season, 11-6 win to open the Coral Gables Regional. It finally gets started. A game that was supposed to be played on Friday morning finally gets finished on Saturday. Miami 11 runs, 13 hits, and 3 errors. Canisius 6 runs, 12 hits, and 2 errors. Miami came back from a 4-1 deficit in the 2nd inning. Came back. Yohandy Morales was the player of the game, without a doubt. 3 home runs. First time a Hurricane's done that since 2015. 5 RBIs, 4 for 4 on the day. Also walks in his 5th plate appearance. So huge day there. Jacob Burke gets his home run, 13th home run. As 5 different Hurricanes have multi-hit games. CJ Kafis was 2 for 4, scored 3 times. Certainly you like that from a leadoff hitter. Miami's going to play the winner of the Ole Miss Arizona game, which has not started yet. Definitely check that out if you're interested. And Carson Palmquist, look for him to be on the mound in that game. 3:06 p.m. TV to be determined. So I want to wrap this up. Thanks everybody for jumping on the Inside the U live post-game show. Hopefully you have a good rest of the day and take care.